Hello, welcome to Learning to Drum. I'm your host, Adam Tevlin, and we are in week 40, episode 37. Welcome back to the show. And last week we did solo number 7, and we played it together at 140 beats per minute. Whoa, excuse me. The tempo, of course, is 170, but it's not that bad of a deal because our rhythms are pretty much basic eighth notes and quarter notes, things like that. So, welcome back, and if this is your first time watching, please go back to episode 1. You'll do yourself a world of favor and catch up with us. And we're taking it at your pace again, right? We're always taking it at your pace. You have no deadlines, due dates, or anything. So this week here, we're going to be going into a new time signature. Before we covered 3/4 time. Before that, it was 2/4 time. And of course, most of the season so far, we've been playing in 4/4 time. So this time signature is going to be called cut time. If you look on page 42 up at the top, study number 18. And you can call this cut time, which is typically what it's called, but it's also called cut common time or Alla Breve. Okay? And basically what that means is that you're cutting each note in half, okay? And the piece is actually felt in 2 as opposed to 4, okay? So you know common time with the C, we don't have to put the 4/4 there, we can put the C there for common time. And, you know, in order to do cut time, you just do a slash right through the middle. So why do this? Why actually cut the notes in half and it's felt in 2 instead of 4, and maybe you're not even getting this as I speak. You know, how could you really cut each note in half as you're reading? There's a couple of reasons for it. Really, it's actually to alleviate a lot of the ink on paper, if you will. And, you know, instead of writing a bunch of 16th notes, things like that, they'll put it in cut time and then write a bunch of eighth notes. But basically, you know, a whole note would be translated as a half note. A half note would be translated as a quarter note. And a quarter note would be an eighth note, 16th note, etc. Okay? We don't get anywhere past the eighth notes in these exercises because most of the stuff that I've read in cut time really is just half notes, quarter notes, eighth note type stuff. And we're going to see that in our next solo number 8. So easy way to think about this is 2/4 time. Okay? Just think about it being in 2. It's conducted in 2. Okay? Remember last week I was talking about how 3/4 time is conducted. It was either last week or the week before, right? 4/4, 2, 3, 4. And you've seen me do this when I count you off, and especially the special hand clap that we did in the early part of the season. So what I've done in the last measure of each exercise here in study number 18 is to write the 2/4 version. And if you look at number 1 here, you're going to see that last measure, a double bar line, and then the time signature 2/4. In pieces of music that I've played with the orchestra, a lot of times we'll switch time signatures, okay? And sometimes they give you an indicator of what equals what. So in this case scenario, the half note will equal the quarter note. And there's no basic sound or audible change in that playing. So you'll figure it out, okay? So let's go ahead, and the first 3 we're going to do at 120, but then we'll drop it down to 90 once we get to number 4 there. But we're going to do number 1 now, and I got to get my metronome going. And I'm just going to have the quarter notes on, and I have to dial my metronome up to 2/4 time. So you can feel the 1 of every 2, right? Because it's felt in 2, okay? A lot of marches are written in cut time. John Philip Sousa is a great example, and we'll talk about him in a couple episodes, okay? Here we go for number 1, and we'll take the repeat. Here we go. 2, 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. If you wanted to challenge yourself, you could lead with the left hand on the second time around. Really, when you're actually reading music in a live scenario, a performance, you know, with a concert band or orchestra, or any ensemble for that matter, you're going to play it conveniently, what's easiest for you and what sounds the best. All right, so let's go ahead and go on to number 2. Notice how these rhythms are the same in each measure. Cut time's a little tricky, but this is why I've repeated each measure, so that way you can kind of mostly get the feel of what's happening in cut time. There we go for number 2. 2, 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, repeat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Very self-explanatory, no big deal, huh? Okay. It gets a little bit tricky here in number 3. This is where I subdivide. the way we count this is, if we had 4 quarter notes in cut time, we would count it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. If you notice in number 3, we have a rest on 1. On the and of 1 comes that half note, which takes up the downbeat of 2. Remember that half note is actually a quarter note. Personally, that's how I count it, 1 and 2 and. I might sometimes count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that reminds me, another reason why they write cut time is so you don't have to conduct so fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, it makes it much easier. And I'll dial up my eighth notes so that way you can hear those subdivisions there. So here we go for number 3, 2, 1, 2, here we go. 1 and 2 and 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 1 and 2 and. You get it? All right, so we're going to drop it down to 90 now for number 4. And this is going to give us some more time to think in between the notes there. So number 4, it's going to go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Notice we have that last measure, the 2/4 version of that rhythm there, okay? So here we go for number 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 1 and 2 and here we go. And 1 and 2 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 and. How'd you do on that? Hopefully you're getting it. Just remember, if you can't take it at this pace at 90 beats per minute, slow it down and really try to get the feel of that 1 and 2 and 1. You'll realize it's really not that different than what you've already been playing before. So number 5, we have 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, right? 1 and 2. All right, so here we go for number 5. 2, 1 and 2 and here we go. And 1 and 2 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 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Not too big of a deal. All right. Number 6, resting on the and of 1. 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2. And there it is. What it looks like in 2/4 time there in that last measure, okay? So here we go for number 6. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1 and 2, number 6 and play. And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Repeat. And 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. All right, how'd you do on that? All right, for number 7, this kind of reminds me of if I were playing on the ands of the beat. Or if you want to sing the Willy Wonka song, oompa, oompa, oompa dee doo, and 1 and 2 and, okay? We're just on the ands there. Nothing new to you. Number 7. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and ready and play. And 1 and 2 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 and. All right, no big deal. All right, number 8, if you look at that last measure, that's what it really kind of sounds like, but we're going to have to, of course, switch gears here with these quarter notes and thinking of them as eighth notes. All right, so here we go for number 8. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Here we go. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and here we go. And 1 and 2 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 and 1 and 1 and 2 and. No big deal. All right, so that is study number 18. It gives you an idea of what cut time is like. And like I said, if you can't get it at the speed, slow it down. Make sure that you can get it at a tempo that you feel comfortable with because, again, we're on no deadlines, there's no due dates, and we're taking it at your pace. And going back to page 8 in our 26 Standard American Rudiments, we see number 13 as the Flamadiddle. That's what we're going to learn. Again, the 40 PAS International Rudiments, it's not listed as number 13. It's actually grouped in the Flam Rudiments. And if you've noticed that we started out with flams, right? Then we went to flam taps, and then flam accents, and now Flamadiddles. So what is a Flamadiddle? Well, just by the name itself, or the Flam Paradiddle, is basically what it is. It's a paradiddle, and instead of just being a regular paradiddle, that first note is going to be a flam. So you still have a downstroke as you would with a regular paradiddle, but you have to get the grace note in there, okay, for the flam. And so if you look at the sticking there, right-handed flam, right, left, right, right. My left is up. There we go. And then I got left, right, left, left. Okay, so you know flams, you know flam taps, okay, and flam accents, but this is a little different than the flam accent here. Let's try it together. Very slow. I'll count you off. And we're going to go flam, left, right, right. Flam, right, left, left. Okay, here we go. Oh, dial up the metronome. There we go. And I'll take the beat down. Flam, left, right, right. Okay, here we go. Right hand up, left hand down. 1, 2, here we go. Flam, left, right, right. Flam, right, left, left. Flam, left, right, right. And if you can't get it this fast, that's okay. Go over it with yourself and think about the individual movements. Left, right, right, left, right, left, left. And just like the paradiddle on my left, left, or my right, right, that is where my silent upstroke comes in for that flam, okay, right? So watch it again. Flam, left, right, right, flam, right, left, left, okay? Those are Flamadiddles. Now, I'm going to play it open, closed, open for you, and then after that we'll get into how do we do it with a metronome and everything like that. Now, as far as the Flamadiddles, they're very popular rudiment and contemporary Western marches or military-style drumming. It goes all the way back to hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and it's just one of those nice rudiments. If you notice that if I silence one of the left hands, if I silence my left hand, flam, left, right, right. Flam, right, left, left. How many hits did I have there? How many taps? And those are free stroke taps, okay? Count them again. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's 4 taps in a row. Okay, that's not easy, all right? So when you're playing them fast, that's where the hard part comes into play, okay? So before we start these Flamadiddles with the metronome together, I'll just play it open, closed, open for you. You don't have to play, just so you can hear how it sounds. My right hand's up, ready to play. So that is the Flamadiddle, open, closed, open, and let's go ahead and pop our metronome down to 40 beats per minute. I'll have my 16th notes going, and my beat is up again. I'll be in 4/4 time. Okay? Flam, left, right, right. Flam, right, left. That's a little too fast, you think? Okay, all right, we'll slow it down. My metronome only goes down to 35 beats per minute, so it'll take a little bit of heat off the 40 beats per minute. So here we go, right hand up. Together. 1, 2, flam, left, right, right, ready, and play. Flam, left, right, right, flam, right, left, left. Right? There we go. Now let's bump it up to, let's say, 50. You probably cannot hang. The goal is going to be 70 beats per minute, okay? So this is what it's going to sound like. 50. Ready, and go. E, and right? Try to keep your flams consistent if you can. Now I'm going to play it at 70. You don't have to play with me, just so you can hear how it sounds. Yeah, a little faster, right? no big deal. Actually, that is a little bit of big deal for you, probably right now if the Flamadiddle is new to you. So those are the Flamadiddles, and work on them. Also remember to work on all the other rudiments you've been working on. Next week, obviously we didn't have a test this week, but next week we might. Okay, not on the Flamadiddles though. Well, that's all we have on this episode of Learning to Drum. I'm your host, Adam Tevlin. Next week we're going to continue in cut time. Please join us, and always remember to keep swinging those sticks.